Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about which type of programmer I would hire. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, which programmer would you hire? The programmer who writes a messy program in 3 hours, or the other one who makes a really good program but in 12 hours? Can I say neither? I'm gonna say neither, but that's not gonna be a very long video because then I'm gonna have to end it right here and right now. I think that this is well, this is not ideal because the thing is that the person who writes a messy program in 3 hours, well, writing a messy program isn't really good. But at the same time, if you write a really good program in 12, then and that's too long, well, then we have a different sort of problem. For me, it comes down to I think that because it kind of indicates in this question that writing a shitty program in 3 hours is a bad thing, and writing a well-structured program in 12 is also a bad thing. And I don't really believe that. What I believe is that the problem and the context dictates which code is right to write. It's the correct code. And I've been both of these developers at one time or another. I'll give you an example. So I had a feature request from a few stakeholders, massive client, we're very critical to the business, aka this thing goes bad, we lose that customer and many monies and golds. Customer comes in and says, we need to experience this application in our native language. Now this was a Swedish product at the time. And I go, my PO comes in and says that that's what I need to do, and I go, are you serious? It's a pretty decent application, like we're talking about a pretty big thing, and it's like hard-coded Swedish text in this application. That's what it is. Like we don't have a internationalization system. There's nothing like that. And he says, yeah, we need that, and you need to do it in by Friday. It's Tuesday now. Not my greatest afternoon. So I kind of go together with my coworkers and I say, guys, I will take this on myself. I will write Satan's code, because it is going to be Satan's code. Can you make sure that all the other people in this company, and I do mean everybody, comes together and helps with the translations of this stuff? So, and we started talking, okay, you are responsible for just pulling out all the text, like create a script or something like that just pulls out all of the text from all of the HTML that we have on the entire thing, right? And you guys, you start translating, and make sure that you share this out with all. I mean, I'm fucking call in the salespeople, call in the janitor if you need to, because this is a lot of work and we need to get it shipped now. And I will write Satan's code. So Satan's code was basically a hack where I literally, like, they created a translation system basically, and I literally created a magical function that would toggle on and off the entire application. Like the two different types of applications that we had, one with the hard-coded text and one with the translated stuff, like, into this new language, and like do all of that conversion basically as an if statement, a very bad if statement at the top of the application, right? And it all it did was that it looked at the URL. It was in this case it was a client-side thing, right? And it just looked at the URL and it switched the whole thing. It actually under the hood was still like loading excess asset. It like we basically doubled the size, or like halved the performance of that application, but we got it done, and the customer was happy. And I'm very happy to say that we didn't, or rather, I don't know if I would call it happy, because they were happy, I was not happy, and we still refer to that code as Satan's code. That thing stayed in production, I think it was 8 months. We didn't have to do anything with it, but that's how long it stayed in there, until we finally actually, the project was reanimated, and we actually got to fix the thing properly. Now, had I done that in 12 hours, like if it had been the equivalent of that, we would most likely have lost that customer. So in that scenario, this was the right call to make, to write the worst shitty code that you could possibly imagine, because there was no other option. And you can take the stance, if you're a real idealist, that no, we should have done that correctly. But at the end of the day, doesn't like if your pride as a craftsman is more important to you than the future of the company, then you should probably not work in that company. You can't really, like, if the circumstances dictate that you do something horrible, then they dictate that you do something horrible. Or at the very least, you should show everybody else the respect who still like their job at that company. Give them like the reins. Give them, like, tell them, like, I don't feel comfortable doing this, and walk away. That's your choice, but don't bring everybody else with you. And the other part of it, like, I've been in the situation where, alright, I needed to write a really shitty little tiny feature, and it took literally 12 hours. It took an enormous amount of time. The problem is that if I didn't do it correctly, it would have been a complete shit show. That's because the amount of code we produced was basically 2 lines of code, I believe, and the amount of regression testing that we needed to do was for more than a few days. We had to regression test the whole system. But if we didn't do that, the impact could have been catastrophic. So for me, like, it's hiring one or the other. It really comes down to which one of these people understand that different circumstances require different types of solutions. You can't always go in with the mindset that you should take the time you need in order to do something as well as you can, and at the same time you can't just hack things together every single time. You need to be that flexible person who really can go into a situation, understand the circumstances, and go, right, if I do this poorly, this is going to have long spanning impact and going to really fuck up the system for pretty much the entire future of this company. And here I have a very sharp deadline, and all I can really do here is damage control. I need to control the blast radius, create a very isolated piece of legacy that will do the job in the time that I need, by the time I need it, without like letting it spread like a cancer or something like that. So what I want you to take away from this is that I would never hire a developer who is so extreme that he or she doesn't understand that sometimes you need to hack things together and sometimes you really do need to take your time. If you're one or the other 100% of the time, then I will probably never recommend you in a job interview, at least if they're asking my opinion. Doesn't mean that you won't get the job, because my manager might feel differently, but that's at least the people I want to work with. I want to work with the people who understand that the problem is what the problem is. If the problem needs to be solved tomorrow and you have almost no time, then you need to ship it by tomorrow, or you have to walk away and fail. And if you have the opportunity to write code that is going to maybe be a little bit tougher, but if you make a good investment here, it's going to benefit the product long term, then that's what we should be doing. We shouldn't cut corners when we don't have to. Have a great day.